Today's video is all about Qubic, the first ever useful proof-of-work layer 1 blockchain. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive, figuring out the team, looking into the tokenomics and the utility and overall value proposition, figuring out whether Qubic has what it takes to make it to our portfolio for the up-and-coming bull run. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. And the question is Qubic an opportunity? Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive here, checking into this project. We have a lot of details to go through. Of course, you know, we're looking for bullish projects. As we see this bull run waking up, we want to make sure that we can get in nice and early prior to the pumps. And the question is, are we early here on Qubic? Is Qubic a bullish project that we need to start scaling into? So we're going to be looking at some of the details, and I'm hoping to be using the website as the main platform here to give us that information. Of course, we try to do deep dives. We go on the website. We want the website to offer every detail that we need. So let's see how good this website is, and so we get an opportunity to critique the website as well as the project itself. All right, let's begin. If we kind of look here, we see be a part of our journey to achieve true AI powered by useful miners. Okay, so it seems like to me this is a bit of an AI play as well here, and that they have miners, right? It's a layer 1 blockchain, proof of work, and the useful being highlighted. I think that they may have a bit of a play on words here. So we'll continue seeing exactly what that means. Let's keep on scrolling down. Feeless transaction and offline payment verification. That means that technically this project has no fees. Qubic is one of the first layer 1s which doesn't charge for making value transfers. Finality ensures that the votes from 451 computers, the quorum, are reliable for offline payment verification. So my first run of this website is suggesting here that there's a lot of vocabulary that is not traditional to the crypto space. So this is going to be a bit of an a learning curve here, because the quorum, what does the quorum mean? The quorum is a bunch of computers. Let's write this down. So we have computers, and those are called the part of a quorum. So a quorum are the validators, if I'm not mistaken. There's 451 of them, and that's how you achieve finality. Interesting stuff. Open source, so that means it's available. All the code is available on GitHub in this case, so that's good. You know, give us a sense of open door type of policy. No surprises. AI Garth or Agarth. AI on top of Qubic, so another layer on top of Qubic, I'm assuming, aims to provide true AI open source to everyone. So this is where things start to get confusing for me. It's a layer 1 blockchain, and it seems like a smart contract play. Okay, it's proof of work, useful proof of work. That seems to be a proprietary thing. We'll talk about that in a second. I can see it down here. But ultimately, this AI thing, I need to see this seamlessly come into the utility of this project or the token itself, because right now that kind of is the outlier. Smart contracts makes a lot of sense. Of course, we're at layer 1. What else would it be if it doesn't have smart contracts? Unique smart contracts with burn mechanism. So there's a burn mechanism, and launch via an IPO with possibility of passive income via an IPO. Okay, initial public offering with a possibility of passive income. We need more info on that. With the burn mechanism is cool. Of course, it all depends on tokenomics to see their emissions, the max supply, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get some more details there. Useful proof of work. What is this usefulness? Instead of wasting energy of the miners, they perform AI tasks for researching solutions for AI Garth. So it seems like if what they're trying to do is make a comparison of the use of energy of other layer 1s. Okay, so the other layer 1s, basically they mine, they perform tasks, mathematical tasks, and what they're trying to suggest is that the tasks that basically Qubic does, or the miners, or the validators, what they're doing in fact is processes that lend itself to the AI. that they have going on here. Okay, so interesting. So instead of just doing some random math, they're doing some random AI research and providing solutions for AI Garth, which is again another layer on top. Guys, we're definitely increasing complexity here, but it's all good. We'll try to iron out as much as we can. Qubic's protocol for true finality, fastest smart contracts, and decentralization. Okay, so I do really see their emphasis on decentralization. You guys know how bullish I am on that. When I see complete, or at least an effort to really achieve decentralization, layer ones are difficult because there's dependencies. For example, in Oracle, there's dependencies there. So there's a bridge between digital blockchain environments and the outside world. That's what oracles do, and they seem to have their own oracle going on. They provide real world data in smart contracts and the Qubic protocol. So interesting stuff. Let's see how we go on. So they have their oracle, their own in-house oracle. They have their validations. They got burning mechanism. We're getting some good stuff out of this. AI Garth is AI running on top of Qubic that gets information from hundreds and thousands of Qubic miners, which are creating billions of artificial networks. So ANDs here. So interesting. So they have the miners that are doing AI jobs, let's say, instead of just random math. CPU and GPU powered by thousands of miners, real world data, of course, the oracle, we need this. Outsource computations, help of oracle machines, source, okay, fine. True AI is trying to achieve true decentralized AI, so that I guess for everyone, making it a non-biased source of AI. Open source, again, the code is available for everybody, and proof of work, which basically useful proof of work, not just creating a proof of work with just random computations, but AI type of related computations, or in this case research. I think that's what they're trying to market it as, research. All right, let's continue going down. That's good. So we're getting an AI concept here. I get it. About the founder, Qubic literally came from beyond meet the legendary founder CFB. Okay, so this is not clickable. None of this is clickable, so you can dig deeper into the founder. His name is not very clear here, but there is some. Oh, right here, Sergey. Okay, also known as Come From Beyond, created the first DAG protocol. Okay, maybe founder of NTX and co-founded IOTA. Okay, creator of very first 100% proof of stake protocol. Okay, that's a really bullish thing. So we got going on there. Created very first non-BTC clone. All right, founded top number 1, number 3 best return on investment coins. Founded a very first ICO project, assembler, basic. These are all the languages he speaks. In this case, he's a programmer, obviously, so as a developer you should have a package of few languages, and you can see that he's got a few under his belt, and not bad. Okay, not bad. But of course, what we really want to know in a doxed scenario is a little bit more detail. There's a lot of detail, but in a public way that it can be verified amongst many individuals, right? So this is, he's considered to be doxed as founder, no doubt, but you know how much I appreciate LinkedIn, because LinkedIn allows you to kind of look into the overall network, his history, people that have worked for him, and if there's any comments to be said, usually you can get some public information from in a decentralized way, if you get what I mean. So not bad, pretty good. I'm happy to see that at least. But what about the team behind this? Is the team important? Is the founder enough? In my opinion, that having some information about the top developers, the people in front of the marketing, and people in front of everything else would be very, very useful. Give us a sense of confidence on who's running the show. Now, I do understand that it's fair launch. I understand that right now it's completely decentralized. That's their whole mission. And a lot of projects that come out with this vision and this structure feel the need not to be doxed at all, which in my opinion, it's not true, because no matter what it is, no matter which project we're talking about, there's a level of centralization. There is a degree of it. So we have to understand that. Now, at least he's doxed. The team could be doxed. A little bit more info there, and I would be a lot more comfortable. But nonetheless, a good start. Much more than I've seen other projects divulge. So, okay. Trade and secure your Qubic. No, not many exchanges. Okay, not many exchanges at all. As far as I know, these are all decentralized exchanges. The liquidity is a concern, no doubt. Where can you buy and sell quickly and have enough volume there to be able to buy and sell? The last thing you want to do is have a fat bag and at the top of the bull run not be able to sell it. And for me, that's a big issue. Available wallets, a web wallet, you got desktop, mobile, and browser extension. All pretty good stuff. And I don't think it's available on MetaMask just yet. Let's continue. Frequently asked questions. So if we continue going down, you can see the website ends. There's not much happening here on this website. Now, there are a few tabs at the top that we're going to have to navigate through. We can get onto the Discord, which I've done already. The Discord is decent. I asked a few questions, got some good responses. Twitter, we'll talk about that engagement in a second. And Medium, I'm hoping that they don't rely on Medium for a lot of the distribution of the information, because for me, that's not a good thing. You don't want to rely on a third-party blog to actually give the public the information they need. Update the website. So all we have is these frequently asked questions. What is Qubic? It's a layer one proof of work, basically, coupled with that AI. Now, they do have this network that we were talking about, powered by 676 computer validators. Part of the quorum is that a small portion of it, I think it's 400 and something, okay, of those computers that get chosen to be part of the validation. The rest of them are just leftover, let's say, and those leftover individuals, they don't get chosen to be part of the quorum type of thing. Miners perform AI training to maximize the use of mining energy. So they're trying to harness all the energy. Instead of it going to waste, they're actually going to utilize all the processing power to inform their the AI capabilities here. So that's a good thing. We're trying to maximize it all. Computers can operate as a pool. Okay, interesting stuff. What's the problem? What problem does Qubic try to solve? This is definitely written by a programmer or someone that understands the industry, the software industry, because really the main mission of every piece of software is and its value proposition is the solution. They are a software solution. So Qubic addresses various challenges. Firstly, all transactions on Qubic protocol are feeless. So that means that there's no gas fees, making it highly useful, friendly, and appealing for a widespread adoption. 100%. I agree with that. The last thing you want is someone that's entering the crypto space trying to have that friction to get on and because they need some tokens. Feeless, great. Additionally, Qubic stands out for one of the few protocols capable of combining smart contracts and oracles. Okay, enhancing smart contracts by providing the real-world time. There's a lot of oracles out there, and there's a lot of smart contracts that use oracles. I'm confused by that. Maybe in-house, maybe the fact that they own or they can control the oracle as well. Maybe that's what they mean. I'm not really buying this whole concept. Furthermore, the realm of mining, Qubic resolves, yes, the issue of energy wastage by directing the computational power towards training of artificial neural networks. So this is what we've been talking about. They're trying to really harness every ounce of energy and use it for AI. Now, one of the confusing things here, based on their scheme that they got going on here, the schematic on tokenomics, or even the way they run things here, is that the actual token itself is not considered a monetary value. What they're trying to do is add the value to the energy. So Qubic is energy. It's not really considered a token or a currency in this case. It represents a unit of energy. So that's one thing that you have to kind of wrap yourself around, because really with the no gas fee scenario, and obviously there's burning, you're thinking, well, then what are we doing here? What does a token really represent? It doesn't represent money. It represents energy. And that's one thing that, again, it makes it very hard to understand for new people that are coming into the space trying to do a deep dive. We'll try to iron it out as best as we can, and you'll see that this language and this idea resonates throughout the entire the website and some of the non-white paper documents that they do have. By the way, guys, they don't have a white paper, unfortunately. No white paper. I'm missing a lot of documents. We'll talk about that in a bit as we go through towards the end. What is the consensus algorithm? Proof of work, but it is that useful proof of work, and they have, this is where you only the 676 computers get any rewards every epoch, which is a cycle that they got going on. Candidates can compete and help the miners against computers to win off. So there's spots, 676 spots. 225 will not get a spot. They will lose their status, and eventually they will rotate. Each epoch, they will definitely rotate, and you'll get new miners that can basically be useful. The more useful you are, the more likely you're going to have your spot. And the spot consists of 400 and something spots. The rest of them, they don't get a spot. Okay, so that's usually how it goes, and this is completely decentralized. The spots are voted upon and so on, so this is something to consider. And there's a bit of it's not, I don't see any words of it being a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO, but I do see them trying to decentralize the authority, because again, every project that is, a smart contract has a layer of centralization, and they're doing their best to kind of release that authority over the founder and so on. So what is the difference between proof of work? Again, a lot of this, they're really trying to really define what they mean by useful proof of work. And again, it's about how they use the energy and how the energy is being used for AI. I'm not going to get into more detail there. Feel free to do that. Where can I buy it? We talked about that already. Some dexes that are out there. Can I send my Qubit? Yes, they got wallets, but it's not available on MetaMask just yet. Currently, it's not possible. Where can I see the tokenomics for? Yes, we can get here to all these docs, but when we open them up and see what's going on here, we got those going. How can I set up a recovery? Okay, that's your wallet. Does Qubic have iOS wallet? You can check that out. Monitor emissions. There, you can go to their scanner, and you can see emissions is basically they have 1,000. There's a lot. Okay, we're going to talk about the tokenomics in a second, but they got a lot of tokens here. And I know a lot of people might look at this as a negative. And to be honest, as at first glance, we're talking about a lot of tokens. And then once you start looking at the potential burning mechanism, that guys, this is very important, right? Because there's an emissions of 1 billion, basically 1 billion cubics per week, right? And the epoch lasts 7 days. So the reality is there's going to be a lot of emissions happening, but there's a burning mechanism that burns a significant amount too. Currently, there are two burning mechanisms: by initiating smart contracts through an initial public offering, where the cost for shares are burned. So again, a lot of burning. By executing smart contracts, you're burning. So anything to do with the smart contracts or execution of smart contracts, you're burning. Having oracles burn Qubic while providing the Qubic chain with real-world data. So every time the oracle gets initiated, you're burning. The usage of the AI, burning. So you're burning a lot of tokens. And what their mission here is to have a lot of tokens, max tokens, and then ultimately have a burning mechanism that counterbalances. Very similar to Ethereum. Ethereum has a lot, infinite max supply, in fact, but there's a burning mechanism that actually makes it deflationary, which is something that we got to consider. Now, it makes it very difficult here now to make a measurement of the potential price target, because the overall tokenomics depends on this burning mechanism, and you can see that the burning mechanism depends on the utility, right? So we don't know if, again, Qubic is going to start picking up, having a massive ecosystem, and of course a lot more burning is going to come, and then we're going to have, a supply shock, and then the price will go up. So it's hard to really think of where this project is going to end up going in the future, because its future really does depend on its utility. You can't even really make a prediction or a mathematical prediction that easily. So it's very difficult, very interesting here. Where can we check the current total supply? Right here, they got a block explorer. We can go there and see what's going on. Okay, so we got a few tabs opened up based on that, and then we got about. Let's click this. Let's see. About, get ready. Okay, the founder, community and founder, the metrics. So we talked about this already. The metrics: community members, miners, smart contracts per second, 40 million plus. Okay, fair launch, we talked about that. Mainnet since 2022, pretty good. Qubic burned, look how many, we're talking about trillions. Okay, talking about a lot of tokens being burnt. And that's the thing, although there's a lot of tokens in max supply, a lot of tokens are being burned. So you got to understand, it balances us out. Dynamic assembly of computers, validators for decentralization, technically 676, but again, only a portion of those are actually going to be qualify to join the quorum. Smart contracts. So again, very typical in my opinion. Smart contracts, calculating supply, have Oracle, blah, blah, blah. A lot of good stuff. Very typical in my understanding. The quorum protocol, again, 451 plus of the computers to agree on a result for consensus. Okay, to ensure finality and reliability and decentralization. Remember the 670 something, only a portion of them get this computer status. And we're going to look at these definitions in a second. Block time is 7 seconds thanks to its efficient bare metal code. So a very clean code that can make things happen really quickly. Qubic block time 0.2 seconds, and they plans to get there again because they can potentially speed up a lot more as they get things ironed out. Oracle machines, we talked about that. Of course, they have their Oracle, the AI. This is where things kind of like, okay, where's the AI come in? Where do we see the product? Where do we see the final result? We get these. So this is a very early stage type of project where they're talking about a lot of stuff that you don't really see just yet. Like, where's the final, what is being used? Where's the utility here as far as what projects are being built to actually make this thing happen so we can see it in action? I couldn't find it. I couldn't see anything. I don't know what's happening here. It seems great in theory, but where's the application? That's the only thing. I'm clicking around and I don't know. I don't see any projects that are using any of this technology right now. So I'm a bit, I want to see some context, basically. Useful proof of work, again, a lot with that AI training. Feeless, again, lots of no friction there. No transfer costs, votes from 451 computers, the quorum. Okay, we already talked a lot of repetition on the website. Let's keep on going. AI Garth, let's see if we got something here. And this is again another link to the same part of the website that we already talked about. The mining, if you want to get in that, they got a lot of support here. If you're interested in mining, computers, pool mining, blah, 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 a lot of good stuff. Wallets, again, repetition. And then the blog. I'm not interested in blogging because a lot of these developers, these projects rely on blogs on Medium to keep their website fresh. Guys, that's not how it goes. In my book, your website needs to be up to date, your communications needs to be up to date, and that concludes this website. Unfortunately, it's missing a lot of information that I'm expecting from a full-fledged website. Okay, I did open up a few tabs, so let's get those going so we can see if there's any good information. Now, this right here is they're docs. It's not a white paper, it's not even a light paper, and they don't give us a much confidence that this information is valid because they even say we don't have a white paper because we're not ready. So what does this information really mean? Okay, so let's keep this here for a second. This was the other link, Qubic's unofficial interim white paper. Why only interim? Again, the official final white paper will be released once the core development is complete. So that means they're not even complete. So understand that we're really early here. That's one of the things that we got to understand, and this is a very dry read, so you're more than welcome. I think the website does a better job spelling all of this out in a very visual way. Then you got the portal. You can join the portal as a guest by just clicking sign in. Okay, and then you can get right in. When I first went to the portal, I was like, okay, do I need to make an account? I wasn't really interested in doing that. But then after going on the Discord and asking around, I realized that I can just push sign in with that guest account and we're good. I thought it was just a temporary holding cell or just, an example type of username and password. All right, let's continue here. So we have circulating supply, guys. There's a lot happening here, okay? We're talking about trillions, okay? Trillions and trillions. We're talking about huge supplies, market caps that are massive. And for me, personally speaking, it does look a little daunting, okay? So we're going to leave this here for a second because I think CoinGecko and I think my infographic does a great job talking about these concepts, and it does highlight a little bit, but you can admit as a scanner, where the wallets, pool mining, computers, scores, ledger, maybe here, let's see what this is. Epoch, we got some wallets and we got some, ticks in and out, peers, transfer, voting. You get some voting happening because they're definitely trying to decentralize and no proposals. We're very early in this project, and you can tell even by the scanner quite early. The glossary. So I think this is the same thing. If you go here, learn, and you go back to here, the blog, not the blog, this thing, tokenomic docs, it's the same thing. So you do have the same information. And then here, the medium. Again, so a lot of repetition, a little bit more information here on the medium. Same thing with the epoch, and the term is the 451 performing computers. So this is what they're really trying to educate. I think a big part of all of this is they're trying to educate people in this new structure that they got going on here that's not very, very typical. Okay, so let's go back. You can see I'm trying to bounce around. Unfortunately, the website doesn't give you everything, so we have no choice but to bounce around a little bit. I feel like what we should do is go back to this thing right here, this Qubic docs. Let's go to the learn section. Here you got Qubic learn center. You can, the QUs, remember how I said that Qubic considers itself or the actual token itself a measurement of energy rather than value or a currency, which, if you kind of think about it like that, because they have no gas fees, the reality is you're not paying tokens for fees. You're really transferring is energy. And by thinking about it like that, and thinking about it the fact that it has burning, you're not burning value, you're burning energy. You're trying to get basically burn tokens out of supply over time based on energy consumption. So useful proof of work, that's the whole thing. They want to be able to put their proof of work to a maximum usefulness instead of wasting energy. Okay, so the quorum, again, we talked about a couple times, and then the computer, what is it does, the validation and all of that. So interesting stuff. And there are other aspects within this structure of how they built this organization that we need to clarify a little bit. There's a lot here. Okay, so that's interesting there. Let's move on. The glossary. So the AI Garth, that's the overall AI orientated project, the project that is built on Qubic network. The arbitrator. So this is where we got arbitrator, candidate, computer, and these three. In fact, the candidate's not too confusing to understand, but the arbitrator, it's an entity with the Qubic ecosystem responsible for resolving disputes and protecting users' interests. The arbitrator basically sets parameters and of the mining algorithm, and then what it really does is it uses the computers. The computers work for the arbitrator. So each node operator individually selects their arbitrator by setting corresponding ID in Qubic CPP. The entire entity controlling the current arbitrator remains unknown, though rumors suggest, okay, so right now they're still new, so they only have one arbitrator, basically what they're saying. So the computers, so publishes a list of computers every epoch. So they have, the arbitrator and the computer have a great relationship here where they kind of work together to get things done. Computers refer to the machines or nodes that participate in the network's consensus protocol and perform the computational tasks. They are a critical component of the Qubic network, responsible for executing transaction on the spectrum and running smart contracts. So this is the thing here. The computers do a lot of the heavy lifting, getting all that stuff going, and then received by the computer performing computers. So basically, the arbitrator receives the underperforming computers. That's it. So accumulates QUs. You see how they use them, how they accumulate QUs? Not even, they don't even refer to cubics. So now what we really have to understand is what are QUs and what are cubics. QUs are energy, and I think they had something up here at one point showing what that might be here in an energy section that they got going on below. Okay, so that's something that we have to understand. Arbitrators set parameters of the mining algorithm, publish lists of computers for every epoch, so they control which computers are going to be working for them, and then the computers work to basically give arbitrators information. Good stuff. Okay, let's keep on going. Computers controlled, and by the way, the candidates are individuals that didn't really make it, or of the 676, only a portion of them become computers, and 256 are not. So they get rotated over time and put into candidate status, and you can basically achieve candidate status and become an actual validator and get rewards for validation and so on. Energy. The amount of QUs per identity on the spectrum. You can see how things start to get confusing, guys. Very confusing. QUs, you have cubics, you have energy, and you're not talking about tokenomics in the sense of value or currency here. You're talking about energy. So once a week, one week time period from Wednesday. Okay, this is during which 1 trillion QUs are generated. So you have 1 trillion QUs generated per per week, and they get issued. Now, these QUs basically inflate, they keep on going, but there is a burning mechanism that reduces or creates a nice equilibrium over time to reduce the overall supply. And that's something that we have to consider because there's so many tokens out there and potentially could be hit in circulation. So identity, miners, oracles, we know what that is. QUs are the units native to the native coin and posed equivalent to energy. Read this 3 times, understand that if you're bullish and you want to really understand, you got to wrap your head around the fact that QUs are actually the unit of measurement here, and QUs can be used as money, but they are more than that. Transfers are feeless, and notion of fee for small contract doesn't make any sense here, like what I'm trying to say, because QUs are destroyed, not given to computers. So when there's transactions, instead of giving individuals rewards as QUs, in fact, they are burnt completely. And that's why you have that strong, really strong burning mechanism to counterbalance the supply. So oracles burns QUs as a sacrifice, not, I don't like that word, as a payment. It's not even guaranteed that an oracle will answer. So this is where we're at. This is where we really need education here. And I really suggest that the Qubic team come up with a really good video that explains all of this and a lot more detail, because even my deep dive here, guys, it's just scratching the surface. We're just doing a deep dive to really understand whether this project should deserve entering our portfolio for the up and coming bull run. That's all our focus is here. But from a tech perspective, if you're trying to introduce a new standard, that learning curve, we need as much help as possible. The quorum exists of 451 computers that get chosen for validation. The smart contract spectrum ticks, useful proof of work. Again, we talked about that many times. They really do focus on pushing this idea forward, which of course it has a lot to do with one of their value propositions, which is the training of the AI. Again, the training of the AI as a layer 1 and all of this, and they also have a DEX, guys, just to put that out there. QX, which doesn't have much documentation on the website, so I'll open that up and you can see, if we go here, the Qubic's decentralized exchange is currently in development, so there's nothing really there yet as far as and unfortunately they don't even have a roadmap. I know there's a link there, but it doesn't work. So we're gonna get there. We'll get there, guys. I don't want to jump the gun just yet. So let's go back to the basics. The tokenomics is all here. So again, it utilizes Qubic and not QU. It's an official ticker. You get what I mean? So their ticker is Qubic. That's what they're trying to really resolve here. And they're also trying to infuse that it's vital to note that QUs, while having value, is not paid to the system or to the computers. They're being burnt. Really, Qubics get burnt. They're not rewards, transfers, and fees. So this is another very confusing. I can see how it could be confusing for somebody that's entering the space. Although they are feeless, contributing in efficiency and user-friendly nature to the platform, fees, quote, associated with exchanging smart contracts are not fees in the traditional sense. Again, this non-traditional structure is where things get rough out here. These QUs are burned and not given to computers, further reinforcing the concept of QUs as energy rather than money. Okay, so let's do our best here. That's all we could do. And they should have anticipated that this scenario is going to give a bit of friction here for newcomers. They want to be comfortable with what they know and what deep dives are obviously useful here. The role of computers, the arbitrator, and smart contracts, we already kind of talked about these roles, how they work together. Okay, so yeah, AI training, all of that good stuff. So lots of good and burning mechanism during IPO. Let's move on. The burning mechanism, I'm hoping, we already kind of talked about that in the Q&A section. It did a pretty good job. So node types, computers, again, what are they responsible of? The miners, what are they responsible to do? A lot of information, role in maintaining, ensuring network decentralized nature. That's what the computer does. Allocation of portion of newly minted Qubics units each epoch for their overall network participation, involvement in essential networking voting, and then the miners. The miners receive computational problems or tasks and from the computers. So the computers give the computational tasks to the miners. So there's miners, there's computers, there's The arbitrators, there's a lot of things happening here, guys. There's levels. This is like a hierarchy happening. Spectrum, operational. You can see that there's a spectrum. Exactly. Accessibility, operation, guys. You know, a lot of good reading here, but I'm going to be scratching the surface on some of this stuff because we could be here all day talking about this. Now, governments, they try to make it very decentralized with the arbitrator, you know, voting and all that good stuff, which is, of course, a big part of decentralization. But an identity with Qubic ecosystem responsible for resolving disputes and protecting user interests. The arbitrators are the ones that really set parameters going forward, which means that they have the voting capabilities. You can be a part of it, you know, and you know, draft proposals and some of the decision making, dispute resolution, and so on and so forth. So good stuff. Mining, if you're interested in that, you want to get more into that. Useful proof of work, the hardware that was required. You can see they get into that detail, and how to advance concepts if you want to do that, but really how to buy it. You can get into an exchange. Decentralized exchanges are the most popular right now. We have a list. I have a list of them already on my infographic, and we saw them on the main website just earlier on. And QX, we're waiting for QX. It's a decentralized exchange. Let's see how good that is, and it could be a good thing. Use cases. So where can this token or this project be used? Decentralized computing power, because it's a layer one. Don't forget, although they kind of sprinkle some AI concepts there, but it is a layer on trying to achieve decentralization through a unique structure. Okay, this is what we have to understand. The structure right now is unique, but still offers that decentralized aspect. Smart contracts, micropayments, powering AI training and validation, supply chain and logistics. Some of the major ideas are all covered here, which is pretty good for a layer one. Some people might be asking, what about gaming? And you know, smart contracts is a very broad concept that could, you know, offer a lot of dApps and decentralized finance and gaming. You can see right here, so that encompasses quite a bit. One thing that kind of disappoints me is the roadmap. I'm not sure what's going on here. There's nothing, project milestones, nothing, upcoming features, nothing, release history, nothing. So far, both the main website and this docs review has no real indication of where they want to go with this project, which kind of bothers me. It kind of bothers me because it's new. They should have a lot of vision. They have a lot of aspiration. They need to guide us into where the project could be going, and we need to be on board for that journey. And if we don't know where the journey's at, how are we going to get absolutely bullish going forward? Okay, so I'm kind of digging around here, kind of bouncing around. Bear with me. We're trying to do this live as best as we can as a real deep dive. Okay, so trying to get myself in your shoes. I've got, again, the same one, more here. Honestly, this Qubic, if you want to read this, it's not bad. It's a little bit of repetition of what's going on, and I feel like we need to spend a little bit more time on the tokenomics, which we will in a second. What else here? We got Sergey. Who is he? Guys, we couldn't really find much info, but with a quick Google search, I got iq.wiki giving me some information about the dude. I don't plan on prying into his personal life, but, you know, he did get into a couple good early blockchain projects, IOTA being one of them, you know, the Internet of Things, one of the leaders in that space, which is good. And then this blockchain platform launched in 2013 and is considered one of the pioneering proof of stake blockchain projects. I really don't follow this project. I'm not too familiar, but that's a good thing that at least he has got a track record. And if you appreciate his track record, you know, there's a bit of, you know, even videos and things referring to him, which is a good thing. Okay, so a bit of information. No LinkedIn page, unfortunately, that I could find that would give us a bit more information. You guys know I appreciate the LinkedIn pages. So what else do we got here, guys? We got some, you know, interesting facts. We got a project that has, you know, some of the things that we're looking for going forward as far as utility. We want a layer one that's decentralized, that have smart contracts, that has, you know, good tokenomics, that has, you know, an ecosystem, but there's a lot missing. I don't see anything regarding to an ecosystem yet. I don't see any major partnerships yet or anything like that. I don't see a roadmap where the vision is going to end up going, and the tokenomics and the vocabulary are making it very, very difficult for people to understand. Now, of course, I had to take a double take trying to read this, because I do deep dives. I release deep dives every Sunday for a good while now, and you know, when I stumble upon a project that is very difficult to understand, I start putting myself in the shoes of the retail market, the average retailer, you know, trying to understand. Don't get in based on hype, not on its fundamental understanding, because it's very difficult to understand. So we can see now the price. The price at the end of the day, Qubic, is multiple zeros. It took a bit of a hit in the last little while, multiple zeros, and 1031. I don't even know. You know, it's fractions of a penny. And there's not much data here, unfortunately, but we can see its market cap. You know, it's pretty high. You know, for its size, it's difficult to understand because the reality is there's a burning mechanism that's very aggressive and the trading volume is low. We'll talk about some more tokenomics in a second, because I had to dig deep, a little deeper, to get those metrics, because both CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap don't do a great job giving it to you. So we'll use these platforms for what they're good at, which is essentially just showing us, you know, org, safe trade, that confirms that that's where you can buy them. We got a bit of a chart here. We'll talk about the price action in a second. And when you're in this state with these projects that are very low cap, that's what you're gonna, or new, you're not gonna get much data out here. Okay, so let's jump right into my infographic, guys. I do release this infographic to you guys every week when I do a deep dive, so that's one of the things that you can look forward to in the future. And you can see that ultimately we got some good information and some information that is not really available. Ecosystem, like I mentioned, ecosystem's not there. Utility is okay. Fuel for transactions on the network, burning, and governance, very typical. Could have a little bit more, right? And I feel like as their ecosystem grows, even their internal ecosystem with their internal decks, their in-house decks, will have a lot more utility. So we gotta, you know, wait for that to happen. We have the roadmap. Of course, there's none, guys. I couldn't find any roadmap anywhere. Unfortunately, we need some sort of vision, and I understand that that sense of accountability becomes a lot difficult for a lot of developers. You know, we don't, you know, a lot of times those milestones get hit right on time, but a general idea is at least appreciated. The team, unfortunately, all we get is just the founder, which is fine. We know he's strong. IOTA, a lot of others, and the other project that he got going on there. And he's got an online presence, no doubt. But the team itself, I would have liked to know a bit more about the team, the main developers, where they came from, and so on and so forth. It gives us a bit of more bullishness there, especially with a new project. We need other factors to become bullish if it is new. If it's not price action, and ecosystem and utility and other, we need to be confident about the team a bit. The socials are not bad, guys. The socials doing good. 47,000 followers on X. They were up 125% in the last 30 days, which means we're getting a bit of engagement. And 19 tweets for the last 30 days, up 38%. They could get a little bit more going in there. 19 tweets in 30 days is not the most, but still, they're growing. They're doing their thing. I give them 9 out of 10. The Discord was decent experience. I was able to go on there and get some questions and answers really quickly, and with that engagement that they got going on. The tokenomics, guys, the tokenomics is okay, but very hard to understand for a lot of people. Okay, each epoch in the Qubic network spans 7 days and produces 1 trillion QUs. Okay, and the fair launch is a good thing, of course, and a lot of times the fair launch gives the developers the reasoning not to be fully doxed and so on and so forth, and that means that they don't hold any tokens in their wallets. It's all fair distribution, and they're distributed evenly amongst market participations of the network, so that's a good thing. And 1 trillion new Qubics being emitted every week. 1 trillion units. That's a significant amount of tokens. But again, guys, you have to understand the burning mechanism. And the burning mechanism, as we discussed earlier, is very aggressive, and it's based on, you know, the utility of the layer 1, and then a lot of tokens will be burned. So they're basically saying that, you know, if we achieve certain level of utility, eventually what will happen is that they could even become deflationary based on the burning. And honestly, it has happened in the past that we have big projects achieve that deflationary aspect over time as we see ecosystem growth, one of which being Ethereum, of course. When they introduced the burning mechanism in to make it deflationary, Ethereum has been deflationary for a good while. So that's something that you got to understand, is tokenomics have other metrics or other mechanisms that do change the dynamics of the sell pressure or the dilution or the tokenomics in general. Exchanges or partnerships is not not jump that, guys. I couldn't find anything. Like, again, if they had some partnerships that they were bullish on, that was good for the team, good for the project, they should make them known, and I couldn't find any. Now, let me know if I've missed out on any of these, but if I don't see anything on the website or readily available, I'm not going to spend hours and hours digging. That means they're not bullish on it. That means it's not that important. So that for me is an important thing. If they have information for us, they got to make it available on that website, or else we're going to jump the gun and say there is none. And this is what I'm saying right here. The exchange, not much happening there, guys. There's a bit of risk associated to liquidity. What about if you want to sell? What about if this thing runs all of a sudden, and where are you going to sell? Now, it could run based on an exchange listing. That's something that we got to understand, guys. We've seen a lot of projects get rumor of a Binance listing or a Coinbase listing, and then it runs. So this is where we're at. We're still in the DEX, decentralized exchange aspect of things, where you can get in on chain, hold on a wallet, it's get listed on a major exchange, and it starts to run. So this is where you have to have the convictions mostly on fundamentals. Now, you can see based on my ratings here, some of these attributes are got zeros, and it just means that the foundations of a lot of them are not very strong. Some good things is the utility, the team, no doubt. The socials are doing decent. The tokenomics need a bit of work in the sense that each, we need to understand a little bit the mechanism, especially the burning, and how we could achieve that equilibrium. I think these guys need to come up with a video and explain all these new terminologies, because we have the quorum, we have the epoch, we got this, we got that, and there's a lot. It's almost like its own language going on here and trying to describe the project itself, and that's a difficult part for someone entering the space. Okay, so again, look at the price. And it's fluctuated in the last little while, guys. Sorry for the lack of an update, but overnight we did come down just a little bit, but it's all good, all good. Market cap about $824 million market cap. That's pretty large. That's pretty large in my book. But that's the thing. When you have trading volume nice and low, I'm not really crazy about either, but you have to understand that DEX is like that. When the trading volume is low like that, what do you expect? You're not going to have that volume because the DEXs don't offer that volume, generally speaking. We have supply 84 trillion, supply already in circulation 84, which is only 8.44%, more or less. That's all we got out there, because the max supply is 1,000 trillion. I know these are numbers that are crazy, but it doesn't matter, guys. What we really have to understand is the fully diluted right now is at 9.5 billion. So you can see now my next step is usually to talk about target. Where do I expect this project to go, to land? Price-wise, it's very difficult because these numbers are crazy inflated, right? And we have to rely on the burning mechanism to see exactly where this thing's going to go. Fully diluted, this is nuts, right? We need to really understand that this needs to get chopped down and burned. This 1,000 trillion needs to get burnt up in order to make this a little bit more reasonable and make that happen. So let's see how it goes here, guys. I've never seen a project to actually have this type of scenario before. Let me know in the comment section below if there's a project that is similar, that has something similar to this, but honestly, I've never really seen that or paid attention to it. So let's talk about some of the other details about the project. So it's a layer 1 smart contract platform. That was clear. Part of the AI narrative, of course, trying to provide that value of computational power to the AI projects. Complete decentralization, that's what they're trying to achieve. Useful proof of work, again, part of the AI, how they are using the miners to conserve energy in such a way to make their energy more useful, rather than just mining and making all that work go to waste. They're putting it to work for training AI models. Interesting stuff. Promotes environmental sustainability. I guess, again, not wasting energy. No gas fees for transactions. Unique approach to transaction metrics of the burning mechanism, and all that is interesting. Burning mechanism is that counters the emissions. We have to be aware of that, because that's what makes the tokenomics difficult to understand at its current state. So it's heavily dependent on that to bring down the overall max supply. Socials are healthy with good engagement on the Discord. I was pleased about that. Founder is doxed. However, info on the team would be very, very useful and insightful. Website could include a lot more information. Nothing on the ecosystem ecosystem, no roadmap, and no partnerships. Very, very unfortunate. Guys, I expect that. I expect these things. Does not use conventional vocabulary that is familiar to the industry, in the sense that you almost have to relearn some of these things completely. And when you have a structure of an organization that is somewhat difficult to understand, plus the vocabulary that is associated to it, the learning curve is difficult, and you don't really want that. You want it to be as simple as possible. And again, I do feel like some multimedia, a video of some sort describing it would be very, very useful for the retail market that are entering the space. And I don't think that they shouldn't have an official document, a working document, a light paper, something where they can actually keep current, some sort of Git book or something like that they can keep dynamically changing as they update their project and reach certain milestones and so on. And they need to have this going on there, guys, for people to get actually bullish here. And then my price target. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come up with a price target. You know, every deep dive that I do, I build a bit of confidence as to where I expect this to go. But the expectation is very, very dependent on the burning. And the burning is dependent on the utility. And the utility and of course, the tokenomics, the overall max supply is dependent on the burning. And all of this stuff will dictate whether the price gets to where it needs to go. So it's very difficult to look forward into the future and depict its utility when it doesn't even have an ecosystem just yet, when it doesn't have any partnerships just yet. I don't know where this project is going to go with 1,000 trillion tokens in max supply and relying on a burning mechanism to bring that down. How do I know where this is going to go? Right now, the fully diluted valuation is massive because of the amount of tokens out there. So I don't know how this is going to get chopped down and what the future brings. So what we need to do is rate this based on what we have available to us. And again, I'm going to go back to this little level right here and kind of show you that all we have is a good founder. We don't know much about the team. The socials are doing decent. The tokenomics are okay, but need more clarity for learning. And exchanges don't add much value. If you want to look at this as the glass half full, fine. We could have some major listings very soon, and you might want to have a bit of a bag. The utility is there. Decent layer 1 utility, very typical utility, maybe a bit more as far as when they see the ecosystem growth. But generally speaking, guys, that's all you really got. So in my opinion, I rated 6 out of 10 based on the risk associated to the project, and I would like to see a little bit more happening here. Okay, so you can see that all these trillions and all this stuff, we're really, really early. And we only have 8.4% of the max supply out there in circulation. So there's a long way to go to see a lot of tokens enter in the market and to see a lot of tokens potentially burnt. Guys, let's move on. I know you're here to talk about charts as well, so let's take a look at some of this price action. So you can see here, I was able to find a decent chart here on Dex Tools. However, guys, this price action is looking super, super bullish. Nice green candles to the upside. And this is a very scary situation. Now, you could be fundamentally bullish here, but the question is, should you be buying in this green price action? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. Like, really, this is one of the difficult parts here in this bull run, is the fact is that we want to get into some projects that are hot, that are being spoken about, that a lot of people are bullish on. But the issue is that a lot of them are running on dexes. A lot of them are there getting a lot of volume on these dexes. Well, relatively speaking, they're pumping hard. And the issue right now for me is getting in on this scenario is that you can become exit liquidity. When you see these green pumps to the upside like this, days upon days of pumpage, the reality is that you're asking to become exit liquidity because you're buying the tops. Now, I'm not a big proponent of that. That's not something that I do here on the channel. I like to find bottom levels. I like to find projects that have retraced at good levels of horizontal support and finding entries based on that. So for me to say, I'm bullish fundamentally, 50-50 for me. Like, I still have some things to, iron out for myself, maybe a bit more research, maybe some time will pass and we'll get a lot of those gaps filled. But from a price action perspective, I'm also a bit worried because this thing could come down at any moment, look for a dip. People could be taking profits at any moment. And then obviously we'll be holding the bag, which is a big complicated scenario because you're going to be tying up your capital into that trap, right? So you don't really want that to happen. Now, if we get into the lower time frames, let's get into the 4 hour here for a second. and we can kind of see what's happening. We're making higher highs and higher lows over time. Okay, so this is something that we also have to understand, is that, you know, the trend is being our friend here currently. We can apply a lot of theory here. We can be looking for bearish divergence. We can be looking for other aspects, but personally speaking, we're still early. The price structure is still making higher highs and higher lows. Any bearish divergences right now market wide have been invalidated significantly. So you're taking a lot of chance both ways, going long and going short. So sometimes no trade is the best trade, and letting the market resolve itself and give us a signal, a stronger signal. Now, of course, you know, Qubic being an up and coming project, you are definitely taking a bit of a chance here in future speculation that the project will pick up, its ecosystem will grow, and the utility will have a lot more usefulness to the point that people will be looking to be buying into the token. However, in the short term, what about if we get a market-wide correction that brings the price down? We could be able to get in on the cheap. And right now, for me, I'd rather be looking into something else that is at the bottom of the range, ready to break out. But at the same time, if you are bullish and you do feel like this thing has a very, very strong future, a small bag is not a bad idea. Get some exposure and just anticipate that it could retrace and that you're going to have to take it on the chin for that type of dip, because ultimately it is definitely hot and heavy at this current level, running to the upside with multiple higher highs and higher lows. Guys, that's all I really got for you on this. There's not much price action to talk about. The project is decent. However, guys, there's a lot to be said and a lot to still divulge and get going on there. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this deep dive, you know what you got to do. You got to slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. Getting fundamentally bullish is super important here in this bull run. And of course, all the support is greatly appreciated on these deep dives. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. And that's a great time to make requests on any projects that you're bullish on. Feel free to join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.